Vijay bhai?
Yes.
Vijay bhai, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The meeting will start at 11:30?
Yes, sir. 11:30.
Okay, anyway, I am on. So anytime
Yeah.
I can do. Oh.
Yes, sure.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Viju.
All of you.
Very good morning, doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, another expert will come.
Good morning. Okay. He is Doctor.
Sir, another expert will
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay. He is Doctor.
Sir, another expert.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay. He is Doctor.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay. He is Doctor.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay. He is Doctor.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Sir, another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning. Okay.
Another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning.
Please unmute your mic.
Another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning.
Please unmute your mic.
Another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning.
Please unmute your mic.
Another expert. ASMC.
What is his good name? Good morning.
Unmute your mic.
Another expert. ASMC.
Good morning.
Unmute your mic. Okay, fine. All said well. Okay.
ASMC.
Good morning.
Unmute your mic. Okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I request all the okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I request all the okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I request all the okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I request all okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine. All said well. Yes, sir. Okay. I realized all patients okay, fine.
Tribute to the people who work hard day and night in the dairy sector. So, for the today's session, technical session 1 on 2 topics. First one is fermented milks opportunities in post COVID-19 by the Dr. C.D. Khedkar sir, and second topic delivered by the role of international food standard by Mukesh Kumar sir. I will introduce one by one. First expert is Dr. C.D. Khedkar sir, is Associate Professor, Department of Dairy Microbiology, College of Dairy Technology, Pusat, Maharashtra Animal Fishery Sciences University, Nagpur. Dr. C.D. Khedkar sir is alumni of SMC College of Dairy Science, Anand. He has double doctorate degree to his credit. He has to his credit 2 human body isolates of probiotic lab, which has successfully demonstrated the positive implantation ability to establish in GIT and thereby modulating the GIT microbe. These are India's first probiotic organism registered with CCMB Chandigarh. Therapeutic benefit of this culture are proved science from last 33 years. Dr. Khedkar sir has almost 3 decades plus standing as a scientist, as a teacher, and as an extension worker in the university system. Sir is bestowed with the several awards and recognition from national and international level. Sir has got the Young Scientist Award, fellowship from the NDS and different organizations. He has more than 150 scientific publication, also 9 PhD and 24 PG scholar guided by him. He has several projects, including a World Bank funded NAIP project in the capacity of consortium principal investigator. The total financial outlet of the project is more than 10 crores. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Khedkar, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
And
you
second, okay, sir. And second expert is Mukesh Kumar. So Mukesh Kumar, sir, is working as an executive in Mother Dairy, that Junagadh unit, and also act as an external auditor for Equinox Lab. He has also credit 2 times IIT GATE qualified and 2 times ICR PG qualified. So right now I would like to share the session to the Registrar, Parul University, Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar sir. Respected sir, please address the audience. Hello. 1 minute, sir, please. Total more than 1,600 participants participated in the STDP, and almost all those want to complete or those want to gain the certificate, they have gone through the daily feedback form, and last day we will submit one quiz. They have to answer of that quiz. After the completion of the program, all participants, those who have completed the feedback form and quiz, they will get the e-certificate. Thank you. Thank you. Register, sir. Honorable Register, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, please address.
Namaskar to everyone. I'm Vijay Kumar, the Registrar of Parul University. Our 2 experts who have already joined us, and all the participants, I'm told by Dr. Kele that more than 1,600 participants are registered. It's very, very heartening for us at Parul University to know that so many people have taken interest in the program which we are organizing for a week from now. First, my congratulations to Vijay Kele and his team from the Dairy Technology Department of Parul Institute of Technology, which is a very important institution from on the part of Parul University. We are a huge institution, though we are only for the last 5 years as a university. Even earlier, we had more than 25 years of service in the education sector. We are located in a place called Limda, which is about 25 kilometers from Vadodara city. We have a very sprawling campus. We have 35 institutions in all, including 2 diploma colleges. And the type of degree programs which we offer, they are very large in number. In fact, we have more than 280 degree programs which we offer. And these, faculties of medicine, engineering, management, nursing, homeopathy, Ayurveda, you name it, and we have the faculty. Which means, almost every faculty degree program is being offered by us, and we have more than 28,000 students on roll at any time. The important thing is the diversity of our student population. Our students not only hail from Gujarat state, but also from many of the states, or almost all the states in India. And besides this, we have students from about 49 countries abroad also. About 1,300 students, foreign students also study here. So all in all, we are an institution where we try to cover every faculty. We have diversity not only in students, but also in the staff members. And all of them contribute to the well-being of the organization. Well, COVID-19 has brought in a lot of disruptions in the education process. All of you are aware of it. You are also teachers. You are also working elsewhere, so you know what exactly the problem has been. Now, we are trying to reach out to people through the webinars using Zoom or Hangout or any other app which is available for us. And the intention is that to make sure that our students do not lose touch with the academics. So on these nights, we are organizing the webinars and the special lecture series, as well as the STTPs as the current one is, where we want to try and include as many people as possible. And as Vijay Kele tells me that there are participants even from the agricultural universities in Gujarat, as nearby as Anand Agriculture University, and as far away as any other place. I hope that all the participants will stand to gain, because this is a 5-day program, and every day there will be 2 experts who will be addressing the participants on various aspects. Today is World Milk Day too, and my greetings to all the people who are concerned with the dairy industry. And like whether it is the farmers, or it is the teachers, or it is the industry, for all the people who are concerned with the milk industry, my greetings to all of them on this World Milk Day. Let me also add a little personal touch to this welcome address. We are in the immediate neighborhood of the place where maximum work was done by the great Dr. V.V. Kurian. Anand is just about 45 kilometers from here. I see my colleague Dr. Jadav's presence also here, and in fact he comes from there every day. So you should know how nearby we are situated. So, and when we go back to the dairy education, I remember when we were PG students way back in the 1970s, somewhere in 1974-75, we started with the PG program in dairy science. In those days, it was not called as dairy technology, and it was only a PG program. It was dairy science. Now, after that, there has been a lot of development, and once the dairy industry became a specialized industry, when we needed a lot of professionals to man the dairy industry, especially when we came to Operation Floods and Operation Floods 2 programs, we needed a lot of manpower which was trained in the dairy sector. So that is the time when a lot of dairy science colleges, or dairy technology colleges in the present days as they are known, now these started. And so we have now almost 2 generations of technical manpower who are trained in the dairy education. So this gives us a lot of confidence for us also to implement different programs. In fact, in Parle University, we have both a bachelor's degree in dairy technology as well as a diploma in dairy technology. So you can imagine the importance, and a lot of students seek admission to our university too, in spite of we being a general university. However, we have ensured that the students do not lose out on any scientific or technical or laboratory part of the technical education, because we have very close association with the Baroda Dairy, which is as good as any other major dairy in the country. Like, Mukesh ji comes from Mother Dairy. He knows the importance of education institutions associating with them. And so also, sir, from Nagpur, since you belong to the Veterinary Sciences University, you also know the importance of this. So we are making sure that our students gain maximum from our association with the dairy industry, both big and small. I again congratulate Vijay Kele and his team for these efforts to bring in the STTP. And I wish all the participants, and I am told the number of participants is also growing. And I wish all the participants that they get the maximum from out of this program. Once again, a very hearty welcome to both the experts. Others will also be joining us on different days. And whenever you get an opportunity, sir, I welcome you to visit Parul University. This is a different world altogether, I'm sure. You will appreciate when once you visit the university. Perhaps Mr. Kele will be arranging for your visits over here too. So, Dr. Kele, thank you very much that you gave me an opportunity to welcome all the participants. Wish you all the very best. Please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Registrar, sir. Now I hand over the session to Deputy Registrar Dr. Gangavani, sir. Please address the audience.
Yeah, good morning, all of you. This is the good initiative done by the Department of Dairy Technology to have such type of initiation going by a digital way of presenting down, and the topic is very good. That is dairy food business management during the post-COVID-19 era. So before starting to that, I want to wish all of you a happy World Milk Day today. And we all know like how milk and milk production is a basic necessity throughout the globe. So on that view, I am very glad, like, Dr. Vijay Kele has initiated such type of a STTP, where in case the people from the dairy business or food business can look into their future prospect, like how such type of things, if there is a sudden economic crisis which comes down, and then to start off with a small business to a small farmer or a big businessman, there are a lot of difficulties in making up and setting up the business again. So this STTP may be of more importance. The expert people who are going to be presenting down, they will talk more about the possibility how they can come up with this business coming up. We had seen during this COVID-19 era, during that, central government of India, like they are initiating down some policies for growing the business for the farmers and small scale businessmen. So I hope so this STTP will be of more importance. And I welcome the participant. Earlier, as stated by the Registrar Sir, we are a globally cultured university, and now we are going digitally. So this is how initially change has to be there. And wherever there is a change, there is a need. So we all should adopt for that, and we should see to that we get our objective fulfilled. So I again invite the participant for the STTP workshop, and I give my best regards and my best luck to Dr. Vijay Kele. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Gangavani, sir. We are the digitally empowered university. Thank you, sir. Right now, I hand over this session to the Jadhav, sir, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture. Jadhav, sir, am I audible to you? Jadhav, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Vijay Kumar, sir, arrange this type of the program is very appreciable. So we know that India is the world largest producer of the milk and milk products. So milk is, we know that, staple food and contain all the required nutrition we can get from the milk. So 1st June is celebrated as a Milk Day. The FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, and decided that we have to organize the World Dairy Day. So Food and Agriculture Organization main aim of the FAO is to survive the human being and to provide the nutrition and the food and the required materials to the needy people and remove the hunger from the country. So about the 130 countries are associated in the WHO. The dairy industries is one of the most important constituents of the agriculture and animal husbandry sectors in India. It is source of the income for the landless people as well marginal people and the other people. So first time white revolution project launched by the NDDB, National Dairy Development Board. The main concept of the launching this program for the White Revolution to connect the producer and the direct contact or direct supply the requirement to the consumers. They provide the fair price to the producer and the qualitative material to the needy people or the consumer, and the development of the dairy sectors. Now India has also emphasized to develop the dairy industries. So there are so many challenges are there in developing the dairy industry. We look about that challenges, and we have to cure that challenges to upliftment of the dairy industries. So there are so many challenges that the producer face that challenges. Just like the excessive number of the animals, we do not produce the milk in higher amount. So low production of the animals is we find. Then second one is the less availability of the feeding material. Then we don't know that the reduction of the grazing area for the animals. And the cost of the feeding material is very high as compared to the other requirement. Then the low fertility rate of the animals. And the infertility you find in the animals also. Then the lack of the education of the rearing or the growers. Then many cattle do not provide the proper shelter for that purpose. So these are the more challenges are that we have to cure that challenges, even though there are tremendous scopes in India for the development of the dairy industries, because India have the huge population, and that huge population require the food as well as the dairy products. So there are tremendous scope for development of the dairy industry. So we have to look in that area. So we think that the animals provide all the milks as well as the urine as well as the dung. These are the products we have to utilize, that all the products. During this COVID period, the smart producers develop their own business because they do not sell that dairy products in the consumers. So they pasteurize the milk in that own self and supply that materials to the needy people. So nowadays we think that our smart businessmen also enter in this entrepreneurship. So for developing the entrepreneurship, there are tremendous scope for developing the dairy industries. So I hope that this seminar or the will be useful to the consumers. Nowadays you find that in the Gujarat the wide scope for developing this industries or the small industries. So I thank you. Thank you, Kailash.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right now, I will hand over this session to Dr. C.D. Khedkar, sir. Sir, please proceed.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Khedkar, C.D. from Maharashtra Animal and Fishery Sciences University, Nagpur, working at the College of Dairy Technology, Pusat. Friends, I am grateful to the Parul University authorities, management, the Dean, the Registrar, and Dr. K, the coordinator of this event, and who is also holding the headship of Department of Dairy Technology. Similarly, I also say hi to our Mukesh ji, my fellow speaker, and Brijesh ji also. Friends, on the occasion of the World Milk Day, I would like to greet all of you, because this is the 20th World Milk Day, and all of you people are aware that we are enjoying the numero uno as far as the milk production is concerned, and credit goes to the father of White Revolution in India, Varghese Kurian ji. We pay our tributes to him also, because the painstaking efforts, judicial planning, and perfect execution led by him to produce the milk at the highest level, and since 1999 we are enjoying this position as a numero uno in milk production. So I greet him. I greet every Indian for this achievement, as uninterruptedly we are enjoying this position. Friends, I would like to deliberate with the fermented milk industry opportunities in the post-COVID era. I would like to share with you people that in 1987, the team of stalwarts at SMC College of Dairy Science, including Dr. J.M. Dave, under his leadership, Dr. S.S. Sannavarti ji, Dr. J.V. Prajapati, and we people have developed India's first isolates of the health-giving organisms. During those days, the terminology probiotics was not in existence, but the therapeutic benefit organisms having therapeutic benefits we have developed from the vaginal isolates of the ladies and the GI tract of the bottle-fed infants. So two isolates we have obtained, and since last 33 years, we are working on those. More than 15 PhD scholars and almost 30 PG scholars have worked on the various therapeutic benefits of these probiotic organisms. As Dr. Kere has stated earlier, these organisms are recorded, registered at CCMB Chandigarh. Friends, when we talk about the fermented milks, it is evident that these fermented dairy products have a clean and natural image in the community. And day by day, since the work of the father of the probiotic technology, Eli Mechnikov, in 1908, several research publications emerged. You will find since last 5-6 years, there is every health aspect has been covered by the probiotic organisms. And you will be surprised to know that more than 500 different types of products globally are available, including the beverages, including the dairy products, including the food commodities containing the probiotic organisms. And the gut microbiota and brain axis relation has been established by several scientific publications. In view of this, in a nutshell, I would like to tell you people that the gastrointestinal microbiota is one of the most important factor in deciding the health of human beings. And that the balance in the microbiota of gastrointestinal tract is the most essential factor. Because once the number of healthy type of organisms like lactic acid bacteria increases, it will surely inhibit the pathogenic or putrefaciente types of organisms. And therefore, everyone now advocates to have healthy gut microbiota. And for that, we have to consume the fermented milk products. It has been observed and scientifically proved. Several publications from the internationally reputed journals like Lancet, the Cell, the Nature, it indicates that these organisms, the gastrointestinal microbiota, if it is healthy, it modulates the immunity of the host. And now, during the COVID-19, one thing very prominently came out, and that is the boosting of immunity. I will not say boosting, I will say it is supporting the immunity. And the lactic acid bacteria are the best supporter of the immunity. So I would like to share with you people my presentation on these aspects.
green shade.
A range of fermented dairy products. Few examples I had cited here. The yogurt is the predominant product, which have more than 300 different types of variants, more than 300. Then cheese, dahi, yakult, and so on and so forth. Friends, the food systems in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, this slide projects how important is the food system. We as far as the today's lecture is concerned, we are restricting ourselves to the bioactive compounds produced by these microorganisms in the GIT, which leads to a healthy microbiota, and it will kill the or inhibit the pathogenic organisms. The fermented dairy products have been established as a healthy image. The epidemiological studies demonstrated its consumption associated with the reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, heart disease, and improved weight management. Friends, these four are the factors which has led an individual susceptible for COVID-19 attack. And you people have several times heard that those persons who have the metabolic syndromes or diabetes or the heart diseases and obese, they should take more precautions as far as their safety from the COVID-19. The fermented milks are good sources of protein, calcium, and other nutrients. Live microorganisms present are responsible for several health benefits. Numerous studies prove that fermented milk is the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome due to beneficial changes in the gut bacteria brought by fermented dairy products. Other fermented foods also appear to reduce the antibiotic-associated diarrhea. You might have come across that when we feel some ailment in the GIT, our physician suggests antibiotics, and along with antibiotics, the probiotic preparations are also suggested so as to make up the disturbed gastrointestinal microbiota. Several researchers demonstrated the microbiota, gut, and brain axis. It suggests that probiotics and prebiotics could influence the behavior of an individual. And this type of probiotic preparations have been claimed for the lactose intolerance, the allergies, what we call the atopic diseases, all the GIT and related diseases, and so on and so forth. Friends, last 4 or 5 years, one terminology has been invariably used for the GIT microbiota as a new superorgan, because thousands of these different species of microorganisms are living in the GIT. More than 100 trillion bacterial cells are present in the GIT. And if you calculate the weight of those organisms, that you may say the single cells, they will be around 2 kg per the GIT of one well-grown human individual. What are the functions of these microbes? The metabolism of nutrients, hormone secretion, that more than 90% of our serotonin receptors in the gut they are in the gut. The gut-brain axis, the immunomodulation, and the microbiome-based therapeutics. These are by and large, the roles played by this new super organ in human beings. Friends, how the pathogenic organisms are inhibited by lactic acid bacteria and probiotics. That is what is depicted here in this slide. These organisms produce various types of inhibitory compounds. As today, almost 70 different types of compounds are synthesized by the pathogenic microorganism, by the lactic acid bacteria, which aids in inhibition of the pathogenic organisms. Then, reduction of toxins and the bioavailability of the toxins by the lactic acid bacteria. Competition for nutrients, inhibition of other bacterial and their adhesion, increase of nutrient availability, and stimulation of mucus production, because mucus is the layer which prohibits the putrefactive types of organisms from adhering to the mucous membrane. Friends, here most important for us in view of today's topic is the immune system stimulation. So the lactic acid bacteria by this way produce strengthen the immune system of an individual. Now let us switch towards some of the studies, scientific studies conducted during the COVID period of January to May 2020. This is the study conducted on 11,500 subjects of various age groups, including the children, the old age persons, adults, infants, patients, and it has been observed. This study was related with what is the impact of probiotic and lactic acid bacteria on the immunity. It has been observed by these experiments that more than 80% of the consumers of these products, probiotics and the lactic acid bacteria containing products, fermented dairy products, they strengthen the immunity of these volunteers in this study. How the host immunity is modulated by lactic acid bacteria. The lactic acid bacteria are widely described for capabilities to enhance the immune system, as I have already narrated. It is by two ways. One by their innate, and the other is the adaptive immune response and helping to protect from the pathogenic disorders. The innate immunity or immune system induces immediate defense against the infection, and it also activates a long-lasting adaptive immunity. Components of the innate system recognize the molecular pattern associated with the pathogens through the pattern regulation receptors. Then various immune cell types, including the granulocytes, macrophages, gaseous, T and B lymphocytes, and involved in the inflammatory responses which are mediated by several cytokines and interleukins. Lactic acid bacteria have different immunomodulatory properties associated with their capabilities to induce cytokine production and impact immunomodulation by innate or adaptive immune responses. Hence, When we surveyed, the scientific community has surveyed what is the results of Google searches by different countries, and the search keyword was probiotics and immunity. You'll find that in United States, 57% people have observed what is the impact of probiotics on immunity. And nevertheless, we Indians also, we have also tried almost 2% of the Indian population. Comparatively, it is a small quantum of the population, but people have tried what is the benefit of consuming probiotics during this COVID period on the immunity of the host. This and some more slides. Here, you will find that Indians in the month of March have searched this the keywords probiotics and immunity, highest number in March, indicating, this just indicates that the people are trying for the options to combat the menace of the COVID-19. This indicates that when the population is educated, it tries to explore the possibilities, the options to combat the COVID-19. Friends, now question will arise, what are the opportunities for the fermented dairy products and probiotic market? And it has been observed that it is projected that almost 7% per annum will be the increase in the market for probiotic and fermented dairy products. Now, naturally, when the market for probiotics or the fermented milk is going to be elevated, the market of starter cultures will also be elevated. And it has been observed that 5.3% increment in the demand for the starter culture market will be there in the forthcoming days. I would like to state here that this is the data obtained prior to COVID, but projections are like this. And when you add the menace of this COVID-19, and it is a well-established fact that to strengthen the gut microbiota, we have to go for healthy the culture, because the starter cultures is that of fermented dairy products or the probiotic dairy products. And therefore, excellent quality, pure cultures of probiotics or the fermented dairy products, they will be on high demand, as almost, though in Indian scenario also, though only 2% people have explored, but when we compare 135 crores population and 2% of that, it itself is an indicative of how huge demand will be there for the good starter preparation to prepare the probiotic dairy product or the fermented dairy product. Now, friends, though since last 3 months, the fast food industry, like other other industries, is almost stopped working. But the time to come, you'll find that there will be more than 7% incremental growth of the industry which provides the enzymes for cheese manufacture. And this is a very appreciating thing. And by that way, we have to be ready to accept this challenge of providing large quantity of the rennet and renin-like enzymes required for the friends. This is the region-wide probiotic market in US dollar billions, and you will find that there is a steady increase. I would like to state here also that this is the pre-COVID estimate, and many fold increments have been observed during this COVID era. And my next slides will show you how this probiotic market is increased. Now, what are the salient features on the fermented and the probiotic products noted during the COVID-19 period? That means in India, as far as India is concerned, we take it as from 15th of February. A market of fermented milk across the globe has witnessed almost 23% rise in the demand recorded during the last 3 months. This one statement itself indicates what are the projection and future prospectus for the fermented and probiotic dairy products. Now, you will be again surprised to see a finding in the latest report of NutraIngredients of May 2020. It is claimed there that an increase of 500-fold in the demand for the products containing probiotics during the 3 months period from 15th February to May. This may be a temporary situation, but surely it will reflect the future projections of the market. It is not necessary that there is a 500 times increase permanently, but surely there will be higher demand for these healthy products. It has been observed in some of the recent experiments prima facie that the results on consumption of fermented probiotic dairy products on incidence of COVID-19 are observed. That means feeding of probiotics and fermented dairy products to different groups of, these are the scientific studies, in different groups of the human being, have observed that it helps in reducing the risk of COVID-19. What is the way forward? Friends, the Food Service Institute market is growing at the double the rate of consumer market. Then the defense market is also growing for quality products at reasonable prices, especially the fermented dairy products and the probiotic containing dairy products. Because not only the fermented dairy product, but several other products are also, like ice creams, are successfully used as the carriers for probiotic organisms. There are various types of innovations emerged, like the chewing gums, like the straw, which are impregnated with the probiotic organisms. And by that way, the people who do not like to drink the milk, they may enjoy the flavored milk, and automatically the impregnated probiotic organisms will be ingested by them. As these things are increasing, demand for them is increasing. Naturally, the ingredient market will also get a boom, as it is already forecasted that the dairy products used as raw materials in pharmaceutical and allied industries have a greater demand. As far as the farmer market is concerned, the increasing away from home consumption trend opens new vistas for ready-to-serve fermented dairy products and beverages, which could piggyback on the fast food revolution sweeping the urban India. Friends, with this, I would like to conclude that consumption of probiotic or the fermented dairy products will modulate the gastrointestinal microbiota favorably, and in turn, it will modulate the immunity of the host, and by that way, it will combat the chances of infection by COVID-19 virus. And as far as the dairy sector is concerned, we have to convert this calamity, the COVID-19 calamity, into an opportunity to flourish our dairy business. And for that, we have to make judicious strategies from procurement to distribution of the high value fermented dairy products. Thank you, each one. Thanks a lot.
Sir, thank you very much, Honorable Shri Khedkar sir, for knowledgeable and informative sessions. Now I proceed to hand over to session to Mukesh Kumar Chaudhary. Mukesh Kumar Chaudhary sir, am I audible to you? I request to Khedkar sir, please off.
Yeah, I will wait.
Mukesh Kumar sir, please unmute your mic. Mukesh Kumar sir. Hello. Okay. हेलो सर, खेड़कर सर आप स्क्रीन शेयरिंग स्टॉप कीजिए, प्लीज स्टॉप द स्क्रीन।
Dr. Chandraprakash, you stop screen sharing. Yes, thank you.
Mukesh sir.
Yes.
Please sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. I hope you are safe and healthy in this COVID-19 time. For all the best on the occasion of World Milk Day. We know everyone today this season time is very critical for industry, and every industry has challenges faced for supply and demand. Some demands are changing uncertainly, supply is also affected. So we are required a criteria follow sub-standard of our national and globals for fulfill the demands and supply and maintain our product quality. So today I have discussed about the international food standards and what is role in COVID-19 of standards through my presentations. Before I start my presentations, I have 3 lines about every technocrat, dairy technocrat, food technocrat, every stakeholder, food business operators. We are Each and every member of the food industry, from farm to fork, must create a culture where food safety and nutrition is paramount. It is global responsibility for maintain food safety, food hygienicity. In different textbooks, standards are also defined in every textbooks are different, but I have some defined. A standard is a level of quality or achievements, especially a level that is thought to be acceptable. We are maintain uniformity of the product quality, maintain hygienicity based on that standard. An international standard is a document established by constitution. It is a collaborative stakeholders concession. It describes how to achieve a optimal outcome time after time by using a agreed and consistent approach. Every time are required some update version, then we are follow to new versions, new requirements. In now FSSC, FSSI, GRC, Codex are new guidelines are decided in COVID-19. Then every industry are follow. Countries will need to stay alert and take a proactive approach, regularly updating their capacities and staying informed to identify new challenges. In India, Pakistan, Germany are have different standards, but in globally we are required an update. We give to trainings to our employee how to maintain hygienicity, how to maintain social distancing. We are required an update time to time. Similar to today's World Milk Day. In case of World Student Day, is also celebrated on every year. 14 October in each year, World Student Day is celebrated. This year, theme is protecting the planet with standards. Our global is how to save. So based on standards, we are protect the planet. Beautiful planet. In Indian food standards, FSSI, BIS, EGMARC, APEDA, EIA exporting, these standards are follow. But if you go in export market, we are required another standards. GFSI, Global Food Safety Initiative, BRC, ISO 20000, HACCP, BRC, packaging, IFS, Indian Food, International Food Safety, SQF, Safe Quality Food, ISO, GHP, GAP, etc. So we have discussed international food standard one by one. We are discuss about first Codex. Codex is international standards. It is a reference standards for different another standards. Codex is nothing. It is a food code. It is a collection of standard guidelines and codes of practices that governments may opt to use ensure food safety, quality, and fair trades. When the standards are followed, consumers can trust the safety and quality of the products they buy, and imports can trust that the food they ordered will meet their specifications. If you are decided many limitations, guideline documents for different industries. For food industries, we have some guidelines. It is decided 76 guidelines for different, 196 commodities, 50 code of practices, 70 maximum levels, MRLs, maximum limit for contamination in food. It is also some decided pesticide levels. What is Codex standards? What is term about Codex? Codex alimentarius is a Latin word, means food code. It is an international food taxes. That is standards, code of practices, code of hygienic practices, guidelines, and other recommendations established to protect the health of the consumers and to ensure fair practices in the food trade. It decided some practices, hygienic practices, material handling practices, lab practices, different practices are decided. So we are follow, every industry are required and compulsory for follow the practices for maintain the quality of the products. Codex are from two organizations, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, and another WHO, World Health Organization. Many scientists are worked for in this out in India. Also is member from Codex in 1964. Our many scientists and many research papers are in Codex standards are published. Codex CSC committee has worked on different scientific panels. The foundation of Codex standard is a sound scientific evidence. From a very beginning to Codex, alimentation has a science-based activity. Expert and specialists in a wide range of discipline have contributed to every aspect of Codex alimentation to ensure its standard withstand the most rigorous scientific scrutiny. Two main groups, JMPR and JISPA, Joint Food Agriculture Organization and WHO meeting on pesticide residue, and Joint FAO and WHO Expert Committee on Food Additives have for many years produced internationally acclaimed data widely used by governments, industry, and research centers worldwide. The safety assessment and evaluations they perform are based on the scientific information available, compile inputs from many authoritative sources. During the period of COVID-19, what is role of Codex? Codex Alimentarius Commission has developed several international best practices to ensure food hygiene in general as well as when handling meats and other foods, and to control viruses in food. Countries are encouraged to implement this best practices. In case of we are discuss about milk industry, how to milk are receiving, how to farmer are milk handling, what is precaution during BMC level, what is during transportations. Different guidelines are decided or required to maintain for prevent the spread of viruses. International risk-focused and science-based Codex text set the benchmark for food safety in global food trade. They provide a framework for the board management principles of food safety in a transparent rules-based trading environment and reduce risk for those operating in an increasing complex international trading. It is based for ensuring the protection of consumer health. I have already decided. Next, we are discuss about GFSI. What is GFSI? It is a global food safety initiative. We are over the past several years, the world has seen numerous food safety crises and headlines, including consumer trust in the safety of food they buy, brand they love, and even food industry's large level. In GFSI was created in 2000 to help address the global issues, make a uniform law for everyone and a global levels. In India, FSSI global level is GFSI is principle is almost same, but if you required in market in export in some countries, European countries, GFSI standard is required to fulfill their requirements. The main motto based on consumer good forum, global industry के लिए क्या है इसका main vision, safe food for consumers everywhere. It is I text from main website of GFSI. Another GFSI approved standards, BRC, IFS, HACCP, SQF, ISO 20000, it is similar standard of, if you follow GFSI standard, then you are automatically all the guidelines of BRC, IFS, SQF, Dutch SSCP. Walmart later to supply required compliance with any of the GFSI standards. Safe food for consumer everywhere. It is vision. What GFSI do? GFSI brings together key sectors of the food industry to collaboratively drive continuous improvement. What is collaboratively drive continuous improvement? It is similar to Six Sigma, continuous improvement, Kaizens, something do best for best practices, how to prevent wastage, how to maintain good quality in food safety management system around the world. It is some key elements of the GFSI: benchmarking, harmonizations, capability building, strategic partnership, thought leadership, driving continuous improvement. How to work GFSI? It is based food operations worldwide are streaming their processes and growing their business throughout certification with GFSI. Recognized certification program owners. It is based on all the business food operators are fulfill their requirements from farm to fork levels. If you raw material handling, farmers, how to handle the farmers. If you go final product quality, then if you require from every step at a farmer levels, transportation levels, manufacturing levels, transportation levels, distribution levels, and also in parallels levels. So everything are guidelines, and all the guidelines are meet the requirement. Then you approved from GFSI standard. Mission of the GFSI: provide continuous improvement in food safety management system to ensure confidence in the delivery of the safe food to consumer worldwide. I have already discussed. It is similar another standards: global good agriculture practices, Canadian GAP, global GAP, IFS, SQF, JRMS, BRC. BRC is many sectors, but we are discussing food sector only. FSSC, everyone in India know about FSSC. It is a very famous standard and compulsory standard for dairy and food industry. Compiles the FSSC standards. Before ISO 2000, then now latest update version ISO 20000 FSSC food safety certification system. It is follow from worldwide. 23,675 different companies are FSSC certified now. It is applicable for 7 different sectors. In currently 128 different certified body are working in worldwide, or 154 members country are members of the FSSC standard. What in FSSC, some required components are required. ISO 20000, PRP's pre-acquisition programs, FSSC additional requirements. In ISO 20000, provide a common framework across the entire supply chain to manage required communication internally, externally, continually improvement the systems. It is based component of ISO 9000 and 20000s. PRP, OPRP, CCP, different are decided, but in FSSC, PRP are as in main component. What is PRP? PRP, it is a pre-requisition program. If you do GHP, pest control, it is ensure your food quality is safe. If you maintain pest control, chances of decrease the hazards. it is not ensure, it is not responsible for hazard, but its chances of hazards. If you not fulfill the PRP, the chances of hazards. In case of CCP, you are ensured, and it is a compulsory requirement for food industry. In case we are discussed about milk pasteurization, then CCP about milk pasteurization temperature is CCP. It full follow. You are document in every step. But PRP is not required in document form. OPRP, but CCP are also required in document form. It's check. If you are auditor, anytime check your 6 months before, 4 months before OPRP, CCP data, how to don't fulfill the requirements. If you are not follow the CCPs, then you are minor NC. Many times you are major. If you are don't follow CCP, then you are major NC, non-conformity in auditing point. In FSSC 2000 additional requirement, if you are required, just like canteen services, jewelry policy, surveillance auditing, some other requirements in additional. 123 additional required are described in latest version 2019-20, latest version FSSC 5.1 version. It is a very deep topic, many time, but I wish just time in overview. Different 7 sectors are applicable for FSSC 2000s: retail, wholesale, catering, transport and storage, food manufacturing, food packaging manufacturing, animal feed productions, farming. In farming, animal farming is a critical first supply chain step for many food products. When food safety is not sufficient controlled, then you are hazardous and it is dangerous for the consumers. So you are fulfill the requirements of FSSC from farm level to fork level. In transportation and storage, you are required what is this type of vehicles are used in transportation of the food products. If you what is auditing your scorecard of the vehicle inspection every day. Before the transportation, vehicles are inspected and documented. In food safety management, 3 terms are known: HACCP, TACCP, VACCP. HACCP is related to food safety and food quality, जबकि TACCP is based on food defense and VACCP based on food fraud. HACCP, hazard analysis critical control point. It is based on our maintain our quality and safety. It is unintentionally, accidental adulteration. It is based on if you machinery problems, our practices are mishandling. If you don't know about these practices, but our main outcome is not economically benefits, but it is loss our. If you don't follow SCCP, then you reprocessing as required, wasted our products. But in food defense and food fraud, some economically benefits we are adulterated and some products. Many globally, many complaints are received from food defense and food fraud. It is based on economically motivated. In a diagram, I have briefly described in between lines intentionally adulteration or unintentionally adulteration, food safety or food quality. Unintentional adulteration, food fraud or food defense, we are adulteration. See, same this in case of we are required some private and organized industry are food fraud. How to food fraud? if you are addition some pesticide, sesame oil, urea for our benefits, but is illegals. If you then fault it, then your industry will be locked. Food fraud across the globe. What is figures? 90 up to 89% of global manufacturing business, including food and drink manufacturers, have been affected by food fraud in the last 12 months. $40 billion are cost of the food fraud found annually in USA, and UK country 11.3 billion euro in regarding to cost reprocessing food or wastage. How to FSSC certified? What is process of FSSC certifications? How to achieve a certificate? It is a 2 levels, basics 2 levels. If you self-evaluations, if you require some guide, some training, then you hire a consultant, how to make a documents. Then you apply for conformity assessment. If you apply for assessment, then auditors first primary level come for assessment. What is your requirements? What is fulfilled? Then continues. If you achieve your documents form, then you have second step for conformity assessment. Auditing team are come your site, then visiting our auditing your industry, then give you conformity certifications. Okay, we are discussed next student SQF. SQF, safe quality food. It is mainly based on Western Australia in 90, but it came in officially 1994. It is similar to GFSI. If you follow GFSI, you automatically follow all the guidelines, document form of the SQF standard. But if you go in market in Australia, then SQF standard license is required for your industry. It is based on different food business retailers, food business operators, food business manufacturers, food business transporters. Its standard was purchased in it entirely by food manufacturing industry and brought to US also in 2005. It is based on also applied for US retailers. SQF, safe quality food, is a versatile standard. Mainly 2 standards, SQF 100 standards, SQF 20,000 standards. First, if you have small level standards, then you are follow the SQF 100 standards. Then you are big, a processor and manufacturing level, then you are requirement for the license of SQF 200 standards. If you are go retail level, then you are fulfill the SQF 100 standards level. It is based on only license version. Next, IFS, International Features Standard. It is come from in European countries. It applicable from 2002. IFS is a key standard in European countries. All major retailers in Germany, France, Italy and other European countries require supply to a certified to international feature standard, and standard continues to grow internationally. Your market is go global level, then you are required IFS standard. Main office of the IFS in world European country. Then it is also IFS office in Bombay, New Delhi. The main focus of the IFS, it is creating a standardized uniform measure against the which against all the retailers, all the manufacturers, the transparency and transparency in the supply chain, uniformity in quality, customer satisfaction. Into IFS, International Features Standard are two versions. Main for loose, if you have loose product sale, then IFS certified is required. If you required loose spices, loose milk is not permitted. Also in India, loose spices are also not selling permitted level. But in retailer level, if you are sell loose product, then IFSC Food 6.1 version is required. It is applicable for processing and working handling of loose products, activity under during the primary packaging. If you go in global level marketing, export, then you are required IFSC Global Market Food Certification version 6.2. It is similar to GFSI. Next, in British Retail Consortium, if you go market of British retail, then you require BRC standard. It meaning standards in BRC packaging material, food safety BRC, storage and transportation are also in BRC. Consumer products है, retailers है, ethical trade है, plant-based global market है, organic foods है. Many are BRC standards are many sectors applicable. BRC is a leading brand and consumer protection organization. Users to 29,000 certified suppliers are under the BRC. It is based on the global network of accreditation and certification bodies. It is requirement for fundamentals for mainly small retailers, manufacturers and food service consumers. If you go in British market, if you sell the British market, then you are required BRC standards. Many guidelines are different for BRC. In the issue of latest version, 9 sections are defined. What is role of different sections? Senior Management Committee, Food Safety Plan, what is HACCP plan in the BRC, Food Safety and Quality Management System, site standards, what is your role inside the standards, product control, how to controls, how to save, here many things are described. How process control. This requirement ensure the document HACCP plan is put into operation on a daily basis together with effective procedure to consistently manufacture the product to correct quality. If you go personal, you are required training programs, update documents, update the hygienic practices. In next, high risk, high care, ambient, high care production risk zone. Decide which risk, which section is high risk. Then what is requirement? You are fulfill the requirements. Next, requirement for trades products. It is voluntary additional section for the standard for side the purchase and sale products that would normally fall within the scope of the standards. What is facility, what is requirements. It is also described in the requirements of the trade products. It is very big topic, but in very time shortage, we are only overview of the standards. Next, you are know about halal standards, food standards. What is halal? Why are you required? If our market is go in Islamic country, then you are compulsory requirement halal standard. It is halal standard if you go market in Pakistan, Malaysia, UAE, Indonesia, Iran, then you are required halal food standards. Just like in FSSAI, then in Islamic countries, CIMIC standard, SMIIC. standard and methodology stood for Islamic countries. What is halal standard? Halal standard is a recognized that products are permissible under Islamic law. It is applicable for edible, drinkable and usable by Muslim persons. What is aim of halal standard? It is aiming at compliance to Islamic that food must be free from harm contents such as alcohol, blood and pork product. If you go market in Pakistan, then you are required of halal standard. Islamic religions are said that we are not consume pork product, bread related products. Not only Muslim persons are like these products, it is also like from non-Muslim, Hindu, Christian, etc. It is just like it is based on different guidelines how to ensure food safety, hygienic, maintain quality, uniformity. If you follow GFSI, FSSI, FSSC, then automatically all the guidelines are under the halal standard. But your certification is required for halal food standards. Islamic country, before the export, you are required your halal food certification number. If you not have halal food certification number, then don't allow for export in this country. In case of CIMIC, similar guideline in FSSI, general requirements of halal food say conformity assessment for halal accreditation bodies, accrediting halal conformity assessment bodies, halal cosmetics hai, different alag versions are decided for halal standards. Why are you required of standards? What is benefits of the standards? The main benefits of the standard is serve as a catalyst for innovatives. If you go innovations, then we follow the standards criteria, define interface and compatible requirements, facilitate market access, help to save cost, improve product safety, reduce product losses, reduce reprocessing losses, maintain quality, improve safety, customer satisfaction. If you standard, then customer believeness is also increased. Next term, what is certification? Certification is the formal attestation or a confirmation of certain characteristic of a object, person or organization. If you are, it is a documents. If you follow the guidelines, but you requirement all the guidelines in a document form. What is benefit of certification? It is help in better management control, reduce rework and operation expenses, improve product quality, increase marketability, enhance customer satisfaction, improve customer service, entry into new export markets, build a professional credibility. If you are certified, then customer easily believe or your company are certified. Then you are follow the guidelines. Then new terminology of accreditations. What are accreditation? If you go in certification, then accreditation terminology are also required. Accreditation is a formal recognition of a certification body competence to conduct a specific activity such as testing or a certification. If it's recognized is based on a specific series of international standards. These standards address critical issues such as competence, impartiality and integrity. It is solve the issues of in transparency. It is based on transparency. It remove critical issues, food fraud, to defense. What is benefit of accreditations? If you go certified and accredited of the particular standard, then you international recognition, sound management system. If you accredited in any certified, then you required all the follow of the standards, enhanced credibility, cost saving, reduce wastage, access to global marketplace, ensure the customer business, consistency, follow the applicable standards, and play vital role in prosperity of the country through credible trade. It is similar to certification and standards. Why use a accredited certification body? If you know about first party certification, second party certification, third party certification, what is third party certification? What is requirement of third party certification? In third party certifications, it is uniform way to evaluate and quality level of the supplier, reduce the need for second party audits for the retailer, and supply based chain management become more consistent and efficient, and also reduce the overall cost of the process and increase the level of safety for customers, suppliers and consumers. It can be demonstrated compliance of the two standard code of practices or regulatory requirements. It also internal, external, our business improvement. Next, International Accreditation Forum. The International Accreditation Forum is a global associate of accreditation bodies, certified body, association and other organizations involved in conformity assessment activities in a variety of fields, including management system, products and personnel. If you go a certification, then you are fulfill the International Accreditation Form. You are required the IFF registration form. This is my website from accreditation. You easily. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mukesh sir, for knowledgeable and very informative session.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Next, Rajesh sir. Rajesh sir.
Yes.
Rajesh sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you can do now.
Hello, Mr. Kile. Any problem? Mr. Mukesh, you can stop presenting if it is over. Okay.